Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting adventure in How to Cook. I'll be your host, Thomas. Thank you for attending. All right, so what we're going to do is kind of give a little rundown here, real quick, of the ingredients that are necessary before you start your project, so that way you don't have to rush around the house and, worst case scenario, have something burn on you. All right, so what we'll need is a skillet, about a 10 and a half inch skillet. I prefer cast iron. A lid also that's going to fit securely, snug, something that's also not going to allow you to get burned. A liquid measuring cup and a wooden spoon. Going to need 8 ounces of tomato sauce. For flavor, we'll throw in some caldo de pollo, which is just some chicken broth bouillon powder. Throw in some chopped onions. A liberal amount of some dried oregano, and just a little bit, a dab of some cumin, some comino. It's really strong, don't need a lot. And last but not least, you'll need 1 cup of long grain rice. Now, in order to brown it, we'll need some canola oil or some vegetable oil, but today what we're going to do for some extra flavors, we're going to use some bacon grease. Hold on now. I need a fix. Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, one thing I almost forgot. If by chance you don't have any tomato sauce, you can get yourself an 8-ounce can of tomato paste. What you want to do is just break it into thirds and add some water. All right, so let's go on ahead and get a little bit of grease. Always remember that you want to turn the heat on first as high as it'll go, because we want to melt down the bacon grease so that way it'll coat the entire bottom portion of the pan. Just keep in mind that if you add too much, it's all right, because you can always go on ahead and remove what has not melted and just put it right back in to the bacon grease container. All right, let's go on ahead and let that warm up a little bit so it'll slide a little easier off the spoon. And now at this time, all we're going to do is assist this in melting. Like I said, getting a nice coating all over the bottom of the cast iron pan. All right, let that go on ahead and do its thing. Now, once this is completely melted, what we'll do is we will go about adding the rice. All right, now that the bacon grease is all melted, has a nice coating along the bottom, what we'll do at this time is we'll add 1 cup of rice. Going ahead and try to add it as evenly as possible along the bottom. I am well aware of the fact that I'm using a liquid measuring cup as opposed to a dry measuring cup, but I've never had any problems. So we'll go on ahead and coat the entire bottom of the pan as evenly as possible, and at this time we'll let it brown. While it's browning, make sure that you continue to keep the rice moving so that way it does not burn. I'm not much on the spoon. I actually kind of like to give it a little flip myself, but I've found that that's just because it helps to move everything around and gives it a nice even coating. This whole process takes about anywhere between 5 to 7 minutes. All right, at this point, I'm happy with the results. Everything looks really nicely browned. Make sure that you do safety first. Turn off your flame. Now, at this point, what I like to do is I like to actually take it over to the faucet, turn on some cold water, and put a couple of little drops of water all over the pan. What this does is it helps to dissipate the heat, so that way when we start the process for it to boil, it'll hopefully not stick to the bottom of the pan. All right, just a little bit more there. You can see steaming up quite nicely. All right, let's go ahead and move it back to the stove here. Now at this point, we'll add the 2 cups of cold water, because just like steamed rice, it is 2-to-1 ratio. It's probably gonna do just a little more steaming, and that's okay. we'll just go ahead and compensate for that after we've actually poured in all the contents. So just a couple extra splashes of water there to compensate for that evaporation. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll add the tomato sauce, all 8 ounces of that. And now we will go about, oh, hold on. I was taught to use every single drop. And recycling. All right, so now let's go on ahead and do our measurements for our ingredients. We have our nice trusty little measuring spoons here. So what we'll do first is we'll go on ahead and we'll use the dried oregano. That's the tablespoon that I have there. Now, if by chance you are too generous when it comes to some of your seasoning, you can always go ahead and put it back. With dried oregano in particular, what I like to do is actually crush it up in my hands, so that way it kind of releases all of those flavors. And like I said, if you are a tad bit generous, it's okay. You're only cooking for yourself usually, and someone you love, hopefully. So just going ahead and, as opposed to throwing it away, just put it right back in there. All right, next we'll do about a teaspoon of the dried onion. And you know what? Actually, I think I'm going to add a little bit more. So maybe a teaspoon and a half. All right. Now, we will use the caldo de pollo. So we're going to go and jump back to the tablespoon. And this is just to add some nice layered flavor with the bacon grease and the chicken broth and the tomato. There you go. And like I said earlier, the cumin is a rather potent herb. So what you'll want to do is add just a little bit to give it that nice earthiness. You're going ahead and gently stir everything in so that way it's nicely incorporated. Yeah, there we go. All right, that looks just about good. Now what we'll do is we want to turn the flame up as high as it'll go, because we want this to come to a boil. So we'll put the lid on that so that way we can expedite that. Okay, at this point it looks as though we're doing good. It's coming up to a boil, so we'll remove the lid just to let that extra heat out. Now what we'll do is we'll turn the flame down as low as it'll go. Hold on, let me go on ahead here and show you exactly what level of flame, heat-wise, we're looking at. So let's go on ahead and turn this all the way down as far as it'll go. This is a lot easier to do on a gas stove than electric. We just want that puppy to barely be moving there. And what will happen is it'll bring down the temperature and this will cook nicely. So what we'll do at this time is we will set a timer for 20 minutes. Let's see if you can't see that there. Hold on a second. Let me readjust. All right, for 20 minutes and start. So set it and forget it. Every now and again while this is cooking, what I like to do is just kind of give it a little shimmy, a little shake, so that way hopefully it does not stick to the bottom. And all right, our 20 minutes is transpired, so let's turn off the alarm. What we'll want to do is safety first. Make sure you turn the heat off. Now, be careful when you remove the lid because there will be a nice plume of steam. Oh, that looks good. All right, so let's go on ahead and stir it up a little bit, loosen it up. If it sticks to the bottom of the pan, especially with cast iron, that's almost an expectation, so don't worry about that. That's what a proper cleaning is for afterwards. So what I'm doing at this point is just pretty much breaking it all up, trying to aerate it so that way it'll start to cool down a lot quicker and it will not continue to cook. All right. That's looking nice and fluffy. But it would not be an actual DIY cooking if I didn't try this myself. It is super hot. Oh, well, that's good. Okay, go away. I need some privacy. All right, well, thanks for watching, and I hope that you find this encouraging and then you can build up the confidence to try this dish at home for yourself. I'm almost positive you will not be disappointed. Thanks.